Coca-Cola. I'm going to cover their products, their financial performance, and some other things that could affect their future too. Most of the information here is from their annual report, which is something they have to legally file every single year. It's a 100+ page document, and I know that you're not going to read it, so Merry Christmas. They started in 1886 by this guy, John Pemberton. He is the one who invented Coca-Cola. They kept on growing until in 2016, their revenues were $42 billion. The revenues for the first few years were on a downward trajectory, but I'm going to get into why all that happened in a bit. Apart from that though, it's pretty stable, and the revenue for this year, for the fiscal year 2023, is $46 billion. This is their income statement, and there aren't any major shifts, so we're just going to move past it. But it is interesting though to see where they're making their money, geographically at least. Europe, Middle East, and Africa are 16% of their operating revenues. It is kind of funny though how two continents and an entire region are just combined into one section. Latin America is 12% of the revenues. That's a 19% bump up from the revenues, and what's kind of funny is that Europe and Africa are 2.2 billion people when you add all the people combined. Latin America is 670 million, but somehow they're comparable when it comes to revenues. It does bring up a question, or if we're going to go conspiracy time, but do they add Coke in there? Or more realistically, it's probably that Africa has a lower GDP per capita than Latin America, so it's probably bringing it down a little. And also there's probably some cultural factors that affect it too. North America is their biggest segment by far. It has 36.6% of their operating revenues. And of the top 10 carbonated soft drinks in the USA from their 2022 study, 5 of them are owned by Coke or one of their brands underneath Coke. And I gotta say, not all of them are created equal. One of them is ahead by a pretty big margin, and the Asia Pacific region is 10%. If you're wondering what Global Ventures is, most of it is these brands over here. Costa Coffee and Innocent is about 90% of the revenue from this category. And the bottling investment category, which is 17%, is basically where the drinks are made, bottled, and sold. If you're wondering what brands they own, well, welcome to Adam's incredibly biased review. Coca-Cola, the classic. You know what you're getting, and it's refreshing. Diet Coke, not exactly the target demographic. I used to eat 2 frozen breaded chicken patties every single day for like 3 years straight. I only stopped because my heart started to hurt, so I don't really give a crap about my health. Fanta has a natural taste, but I don't think it's very natural. Sprite, love it, 8 out of 10, classic, solid, great. Minute Maid, it's a great juice. Dasani and Smart Water. Water, like, are you asking for a taste test? Come on. Schweppes, they own it in some European countries, but I've never really had it. Fresca, something I have also never really had. Simply, here's the thing, when I'm looking for some lemonade or some orange juice, they are the go-to. Vitamin water, cool. Powerade, knockoff Gatorade, and Body Armor, another sports drink, cool. I named a few of the big ones, and no, I am not going to name all of them. They own like 200 brands or something. Are you crazy? This is something I did not realize, but they are in alcohol. Through a US subsidiary, in the US at least, they license out their name to Jack Daniels. They also own Simply Spiked, Fresca Mixed, and internationally they have Lemon Dow. It's basically an alcoholic drink in the Philippines, China, Japan, and in India. You know what? Let's just flex Coca-Cola's position for a little bit. When it comes to drinks, they are that guy. They had 46.3% of the US market in 2022. Globally, out of all the 64 billion servings of beverages consumed daily, Coca-Cola gets 2.2 billion of that. If you had some questions about the decreasing revenue with the chart, it's due to them franchising out their bottling investments. For anyone who doesn't know, that's basically them giving out the right to manufacture and deliver and all that stuff to another company within a certain area. They still get a fee though. They didn't really want to be in the bottling and distribution business because it's a low margin, high capital business. It's not exactly a great one. In 2017, the revenue from the bottling investment category fell by 48%. And net income wasn't crazily affected. Net income started at 6.5 billion in 2016 and ended at 10.7 billion in 2023. It's stable pretty much the whole way through, except for in 2017 when it decreased by quite a bit. And no, the majority of it was not caused by the bottling investment revenue decrease. What really affected it was the $4.6 billion tax bill they had to pay because they repatriated some of the funds that were elsewhere in the world. They repatriated $42 billion. For any of you who don't know what repatriation means, that's basically them taking money that's outside the US and bringing it back into the US. And they do have to pay a tax bill on that. Stock performance wise, the returns are pretty good. And if any of you were wondering what exactly that massive dip was, that's basically Keurig Dr. Pepper when they paid a $100 dividend. Check out that video if you want. But apart from that, Coca-Cola is pretty stable. And think about it, people are still going to drink no matter what. They also do pay a dividend, and if you were wondering what the return you'd get if you invested in Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Keurig Dr. Pepper, and the S&P 500 index are, well, there you go. The S&P 500 index, though, I use SPY as the ticker. The PE ratio is a premium that you're paying for every dollar that company makes in profit. Here is the PE ratio for Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Keurig Dr. Pepper. Let's move on to a SWOT analysis, starting off with strengths. Brand. I know I say this every single time, but I really need to emphasize it here. Coca-Cola's brand is strong and it's everywhere. Even in a third world country, they know Coca-Cola. I don't know about you guys, but I can't stop drinking it. I don't know if the want for soda is ever just gonna vanish all of a sudden. They're also very geographically spread out. So if anything happens to one country or something, they'll probably be okay. Weaknesses wise, I do have to mention it, but they are pretty concentrated in one industry, drinks, compared to like Pepsi, which is one of their competitors, who is in, for example, snacks. Like they own Lay's. Did you know that? If people want healthier drinks, they don't really have many options now, but also do keep in mind, if healthy drinks become super popular, you best believe that Coke is going to get them. They franchise out a lot of their business. They can take over some of them if they're underperforming, but I don't know if you guys remember a certain plane company who outsourced a lot of their building. It's no secret that Coke is not exactly healthy. If you want to get healthy, you avoid them. They have a massive opportunity in alcohol. I don't know if you guys realize this, but Gen Z and millennials are really into seltzers, which is basically soda with a little bit of alcohol. They can leverage some of the brands like Coca-Cola or Sprite or Fanta or any one of those, make some seltzers. Best believe people are gonna at least try them out for sure. I know I will. They do have Simply Spiked, but as a consumer, I also want to see some more too. That's why if they enter the alcoholic beverage industry, that could also damage your brand, because they are seen as safe for all ages, kids, adults, whoever. And if they enter alcohol, they may not be safe for all ages anymore. Currency risk. They are a company who's dipped their toes in pretty much every single country. When you're involved in that many countries, little fluctuations here and there add up to a lot. They also suffer from some water usage controversies. And look, there's a pretty easy solution to this. Care. Like, I know this may be something new and just completely novel for $1 billion corporation, but just care. Compensate people. Find alternatives. Like, treat people like human, and maybe this thing just goes away entirely. Wow. Want to avoid boycotts and all that? Yes. Sorry, hold on, give me 1 second. What? They're number one? Oh, let's go. Coke is the most proactive company when it comes to pollution. Hold on, give me 1 more second. Oh, my apologies. They are the number one polluter in the world. For the past 6 years in a row now, they are the number one polluter. So guys, give it up to Coke. Come on, do better. Also, I do feel an obligation to mention their executive pay. So the CEO, James Quincy, made $25, $23, and $25 million over the past 3 years. Well, this is the rundown of Coca-Cola. This is not investment advice. I'm just mashing together the annual report and some other news too. Bada bing, bada boom, video. If you want actual investment advice, talk to a financial professional or read the actual guide like the SEC's guide, and peace, people.